Good evening, everyone. I want to welcome all that are joining us this evening virtually at the OutSouth Queer Film Festival. I hope that you have supported the festival and made some time to view some of the beautiful films chosen this year. And remember that our Queer Film Festival is the second largest film fest in the Southeast, and this is our 26th year. My name is Joylyn Miller. And I'm a member of the programming committee. We put together a panel discussion this evening to discuss the many types and importance of representation in film. I'm going to introduce each of our panelists and give a brief intro about each of our creators, filmmakers, and actors. We will discuss several narrative shorts tonight. The films are Graduation, Sundown Town, Money Cat, and Pool Boy. If you have not had an opportunity to view these films during the festival, I encourage everyone to view these films. I definitely love all of them for different reasons, but they were all wonderful. First, I want to introduce Robin Wang. Robin is an award-winning director and screenwriter based in Los Angeles. He graduated from Duke University with a BA degree in English and is now an MFA candidate in film and television production at the University of Southern California. Robin strives to create comedies and dramas that are meant to be captivating, illuminating, and authentic portrayal of the APIQ community. And Robin directed Graduation. Thank you, Robin, for being here. Next, I want to introduce, thank you, Todd Lynn. Todd Lynn is an award-winning bilingual actor, singer based in LA. Besides his acting training and background, his language skill and music expertise have helped him land several national commercials, musical performances with high-profile singers, and film productions. Some of his credits include other short films such as Straight A national commercial with Janelle Monáe, and Todd portrays Caleb in the film Graduation. Todd, thank you for being here. We also have Milo Butler. Milo is a short film director and cinematographer. And Milo is committed to telling stories empowering and centered around the underrepresented. As of 2021, Milo has 5 years of freelancing and working with multiple high-profile productions. Milo is the managing member of his own production company, Milo B Productions, focused on storylines that feature BIPOC and LGBTQ plus and other marginalized communities. For Milo, it is important to turn attention to issues that desperately need to be addressed in society and that are often overlooked or forgotten.
Milo is going to appear here in a little bit, so he's probably having some tech problems. So as soon as he shows up, I'll pop him in.
Okay. Thank you, Milo, for being here. And Milo directed Sundown Town. We also have Tashawn Thornton. Tashawn is a professional actor from Philadelphia. Tashawn naturally enjoys finding the idea of telling stories and being imaginative, fulfilling the transition to acting came naturally to him. He views the craft as an ever-evolving art to leave his mark on and continually seek challenging roles to help him grow and learn every time he finds himself on stage or on screen. Tashawn studied at the Art and School of Drama. Tashawn has had roles in Super Kick, Good News Blues, Thanks for the Advice, To Life, and Dealers. And Tashawn portrays the role of Bryce in Sundown Town. Tashawn, thank you also for being here. We have Thomas Ireton. Thomas's home was a melting pot of 3 different cultures and languages. Thomas was born and raised in Tokyo, Japan, to an Irish-American Japanese father and Filipino mother. He grew up watching movies and TV shows with his family, which led him to pursue a career in entertainment industry. Thomas's passion for entertaining people led him to pursue a bachelor's degree in film and television production. He wrote and produced and co-directed the first narrative short film shot in Tokyo, To Have and to Hold. Thomas has also done a short film called Till I See You, and that was a finalist at the 2018 On Location, the Los Angeles Video Production Project Film Festival. Thomas directed the short film Money Cat. We also have Connor Kurth. Connor is a film lover and has been a film lover from an early age. Connor lives in Los Angeles, works as a producer, director, and has had the opportunity to work on a variety of narrative, unscripted, commercial, and music video projects. Connor hopes to continue telling stories that expand queer narratives through a multitude of genres. Connor is also the director of Money Cat. Thank you, Connor, for being here as well.
And Milo just showed up, but his camera is looking a little sideways. So let's just see what happens when we add him to the stream.
Okay.
There it is.
I also want to introduce Anne. I'm sorry. Anne C. James has an extensive career in international stage direction and theater education spanning over 3 decades. Anne recently made her debut as the first Black intimacy coordinator of Broadway for Antoinette Nwandu's Passover. Anne is an expert in the burgeoning industry of intimacy direction and institutional consent culture for national arts organizations. Thank you, Anne, for being here. And Anne is here representing Cool Boy, the film Cool Boy.
Great to be here.
Thank you. So I want to welcome everyone for being here. Thank you so much. I loved all your projects. I would love to give the audience a brief summary of your film because I want people to find your films, seek them out, and watch them and support them if they have not already viewed them during the film festival. So I see Robin first on my screen. So Robin, if you could tell us a little bit about Graduation and where you're streaming, and if anybody wants to share where they're streaming from or any other information, that would be great as well.
Hi, I am currently streaming from Los Angeles, California, and I represent the short Graduation, which I wrote and direct and shot in March 2020, right before the pandemic, and I was very lucky. And Graduation is a romantic comedy that addresses the themes of lies and secrets that runs like deep into like the traditional family ethics, especially in the Asian American and Asian diaspora context. It follows a very messy night of affairs that after a Chinese international student's graduation, and he is going back to China, but he's leaving his boyfriend Caleb Todd behind, and then at the same night that their parents are sort of hooking up with an affair, so they're basically like trying to hide their affairs from each other. While trying to catch up with playing like the next morning. So it is pretty messy, but also warm and heartfelt and bittersweet and fun. Yeah, and then yeah, Thank you.
Thank you. Next, Todd, would you like to add anything about the film Graduation, or just being an actor in the film?
I think my camera might be frozen. I don't know. Can you guys hear me?
We can hear you. You are frozen, but we can hear you clearly.
Okay, that's great. Well, this is the face I'm making when you hear my comment about this. So yes, I think it's very exciting to be a part of a film that's very personal. Like it's coming out, it's very personal to the character Caleb, right? Because it's like it's very, very personal to Wiz. It's like it's very exciting, and I'm very grateful to be a part of this project because as an actor, you get to walk through a character's life and thinking that feeling and everything this character's feeling. And as a queer actor myself, it actually really resonated with me a lot. And this journey you go through of like dating and having a secret of your own. And I think Robin did an amazing job in the script, giving this extra layer of like secret from the parents as well. So it becomes a very fun yet relatable sort of romantic comedy. So yeah.
Thank you. Thank you. Milo and Tashawn, would you like to tell a little bit about Sundown Town?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Hi, I'm streaming from the Hudson Valley Film Festival to drive-in at the Woodwick Theater. And Sundown Town is actually a story that follows two queer travelers who are on their way home from a holiday vacation where they stumble upon a mysterious town, which, you know, not getting into too many details, has a mysterious past that haunts it.
Thank you. Tashawn, would you like to add anything as far as being a lead actor in Sundown Town?
Oh yeah, definitely. So I firstly just want to say thank you to everybody here at OutSouth just for this panel. And but back to Sundown Town, I think it was really just important for us to tell a story, and I really got to thank Milo 1,000 times for giving me this chance to tell a story that was so personal to him and just give me that sort of confidence to really give my best performance to telling something that really goes on a lot more often than people would think.
Thank you. Thank you. Now I'm going to shift to Thomas and Connor to tell a little bit more about Money Cat.
Sure. Thanks. First of all, thanks so much for having us. Money Cat is a story about a financially strapped couple who encounters a mysterious money cat. And the money cat is something that you often see in Asian households or at restaurants. And one of them touts it as a good luck charm, while the other remains a skeptic. And they're both surprised when good fortune seemingly befalls them. But, you know, with everything comes with a price.
Yes. Connor, would you like to discuss any more being a part of Money Cat as well?
Yeah, I think it was great to do this, and echoing Tashawn and Thomas's comments, thanks for having us, and this is so great to be able to talk with you guys. It was great to do Money Cat, to be able to do this little horror comedy cautionary tale based off an old Japanese legend that Thomas had some experience with from his past, and to get to do this in the middle of the pandemic was just a really highlight when there wasn't else much going on, and so it's been great.
Thank you. Thank you. And Anne, tell us more about Pool Boy.
Yeah, Pool Boy, full disclosure, I did not direct the film. I'm the intimacy coordinator on the film. Luke Willis is the amazing director for this film. Thank you so much for having me to talk about it. Pool Boy is a romantic tale between two people who are surprisingly connected outside of what society believes coupling should be. And it stars amazing River Gallo, and I could not be more behind what this film says about sexuality, what it says about acceptance, and I hope you get to see it. But yeah, it's called Pool Boy.
Definitely. Some people touched on this. I think I'm going to skip down to this question and see if anybody, feels moved to say anything. Can you discuss the transparency or vulnerability that may have come with telling these particular stories and what it might have brought up for you? In particular, I recall that Robin mentioned going through maybe some love and loss issues, as well as Milo mentioning personally experiencing experiences with homophobia and racism. So I don't know if anybody could speak to that. I'll start maybe with, if you want to share, Robin and Milo, and if anybody else has anything to share, I would love that.
I could share because I lived my life as an international student since I was 15. I went to Singapore for high school there, and then I went to Duke for undergrad. By the way, I went to Duke, so I know the Carolina Theater really well. I know OutSouth for a long time. It's such a great pleasure to be here, and thanks for having me. And then after Duke, I went to well, while I was at Duke, I went to did like a like 1 semester program at USC, and I was in Oxford for a brief period. So I'm just like always moving like across across boundaries, like to these different locations. So it's always, life is on the move, and then every time I move on to a different place, there are certain things that I sort of have to leave behind. And that always, and graduation, as the title suggests, it's a starting up, like the next chapter of your life, and it's a process of moving forward. By moving forward, it means that something got left behind, and that is the love and the emotion that lingers, the bittersweet feeling that having to say goodbye to someone is always like that I care about. Like, it's always something that it's a kind of emotion that sort of struck me a lot. So that's like the underlying premise for the emotional core between the couple I live with. And it's still the case for me today, because I live the life of like a very hybridized identity, almost like an Americanized Chinese. So and my home is still like in China. That's where my parents live. So I still have to sort of travel back and forth, like travel across like different worlds, very different cultures, and have to sort of live that dual, persona versus personality kind of thing. So it's one image in the when I was interacting with my parents and their friends, and the other image when you were interacting with like people who are more like me. So it's that kind of struggle. It's definitely something that I'm very interested in, invested in, emotionally.
Thank you. Milo, I don't know if you had anything to add to this.
Yeah. Yeah. Just to answer your question about my just bringing up any kind of emotional this story kind of was my story in a way, kind of echoed my same experience, being stopped in the middle of the night at a town that was unfamiliar, and just going through very much similarly. I expressed, the same kind of ordeal I went through to Sean to prepare him for the role. So he knows in great detail, what it was like, but not, I don't want to give too much away about the film to people who haven't seen it, but it was an emotional experience for me, and mentally, and it's still something people to this day still have to go through, and to speak on people who stories haven't been told, or nobody knows exactly what happened to their loved ones. It really should give people a lot of insight to how that's that feels to feel like you're the next person to kind of be in those situations and be in those shoes. So I feel like making this film and making it the way I did was very much a release of frustration, but also just kind of me telling my story, and just kind of this is my version.
Thank you. It makes me think too, Anne, about Pool Boy. I recall the director saying that this was like a love letter to the trans community. And I'm so curious about your role as the intimacy coordinator, and how that impacts people's vulnerability and ability to bring that beautiful story forth on film.
Oh, that's a great way to put it. And, so often in the media, we see stories of trauma surrounding the trans community. And this story was written with absolute light and love around specifically the trans character, who is actually played by a non-binary intersexed person, River Gallo, who actually receives the sexual gratification and receives the love and receives in the moments that we see in the film. And so I believe this is one of the first times that scenario has been played out, to where the trans character receives love and sexual gratification on film. So, when we worked out the choreography, you know, and Tim, the actor who plays the other lead, also identifies as autistic. And so when we're talking about touch and we're talking about boundaries between two people who had never, one person who had never been nude on film, one person who identifies as autistic, another, you know, this other same individual identifies as intersexed. And so there was all this beauty and appreciation for the fact that this was a very new and open environment for change to happen in the community for all the people who saw it. So the choreography was indeed moving at the speed of trust of the actors, and we got a lot of beautiful footage in the can, and the results are what you see.
Yes, I fell in love with the characters. So Austin and Star, I love them. I loved Austin and Star and Pooh Boy.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have anything to add, or anything they'd like to share? We can move on if not. I also had some questions about some of the challenges you faced in terms of possibly funding or distribution in bringing your films here to us, because I enjoy them all so much, and maybe someone might want to speak on that.
I can speak briefly on it because I had no idea what the machinations of that process were. Only that I know that Luke raised a lot of the money himself. I believe he got a grant for pre-production and production. And then he just started throwing it into film festivals. And I don't know if a distribution deal is in the works, but certainly I would think that this film would merit some sort of attention.
Anyone else? Yeah.
Yeah, I would say that we had talked about shooting during COVID was a bit of a challenge. Our financing partners, they required that a COVID officer be present with us for the day, and then everybody was going to have to get tested. And so immediately we were like, how much of the budget is going to go toward this, and what do we have to sacrifice? And ultimately, I think time was that sacrifice. And so it was just fitting everything in around all those hoops to jump through.
And I think we also made some creative choices because of those ramifications. And I think ultimately it helped our script as well. We made some fun creative choices at the end of the film because we truncated our shoot days from 3 days to 2 days. And I think that helped with our storytelling and what we wanted to tell through the film.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm not sure. Anyone else? If not, we can move on. Oh, Robin, did you have anything to add about?
For us, well, for us, we've been in the festival circuit for a year almost, and then we are sort of like closing, coming towards the end. We haven't had any like a real distribution deal yet, so we're and we last week just screened at OutFest, and of course OutSouth, and then AIFF. There was like my previous film was on Deku, and I think I would hope to have have a similar like distribution deal, like, or streaming platform for a short like graduation. But like we're still in the middle of looking at these things. But yeah.
Okay. One thing I too was really curious about, or wanted you to talk to our OutSouth audience and viewers about, is just some discussion of your perspective about the importance of representation in film. Because clearly it was important to everyone here. There were just so many beautiful stories and characters. And so I was hoping maybe you all could speak to that. Maybe this time I'll start with Thomas and Connor.
Sure. The genesis of the idea of Money Cat is a history and background in Japan, and I was born and raised there. and I always had this cat figurine in my home, and that's what my mother always had. But sort of speaking to the answering the question, I think representation obviously matters, and it's important to have for all these years that we haven't had representation, and specifically with our characters having a Latinx and Japanese American actress. I think it was really important to have that history and story honored and through their performances.
Thank you. I don't know if Connor has anything to add. If you do,
I definitely can sort of speak to that because I feel there are like so many doubly marginalized communities in this world. There's like you're not just being queer, also being people of color, and it is something that I always felt missing in the sort of the mainstream of the queer literature is that it is also whitewashing. It's sort of always sort of based in the kind of a white-driven narrative, and then there are certain cultural sensibilities that are kind of just not there, and then it's like missing, like from at least from our perspectives, which is part of the reason I admire filmmakers like Ang Lee to sort of find ground in these intersections of between the topic of gender, also like sex, sexuality, and being the Chinese culture and like communities and stuff. So yeah, I think it's definitely refreshing to keep pushing the boundaries for diversity, for more stories that are previously unheard to emerge.
thank you. Milo or Anne?
Yeah, I definitely feel like, especially me being a Black queer artist, I feel like it was very important for me to get our stories told in any any way we can be represented is always a good way. And I feel like it was really important for me to have a Black actor specifically for this film that was reliable and was also very in terms of trying to get it right and just trying to make it as digestible, I feel like, as possible, because it's a lot. The film, it can be a lot for some people, and I feel like it was a lot for me to kind of make it and kind of keep watching it over and over again. So I think that we I like to agree with Robin said, like there's a lot of whitewashing happening, and sometimes we kind of get lost in trying to represent ourselves, that we kind of like have to adjust for the audience and make them kind of happy, and like with the roles that we put our Black and POC people in. So I feel like this panel specifically is really striving for like the real mainstream representation for Black and biopic people of color, Indigenous people.
Thank you.
I love that. I if I could just add to that and uplift that, because representation in front of the screen is one thing, but representation behind the screen is very important too. And as we bring stories of the people of the global majority forward, I feel that we can tell the story the best. We can write the story the best because it's our identity, part of it. And to see these young writers come through, I'm a little bit older than y'all, but to see you coming forth and pushing through into an industry that can be very white led and very white centered is commendable. And I say to you, keep doing it. Keep filling your crews with people of color and people from different identities than yourself. And the world is an abundant place. There's more than enough for it to go around. And just keep being you.
Thank you so much, Anne. Does anybody else have
just like to add on to that? I really just wanted to just shout Milo out for the for the very diverse just team we had working with us in general, from like the PAs to like the camera people to even sound and even the makeup, that even went like as far back as like people he was like, we were in his house getting the makeup and wardrobes done the day of, and like it was Milo's family helping us out. So I just want to thank him for that. And I mean, they did an amazing job just getting us to look the part, so we could definitely just go out there and do our best performances. So truthfully, like the diversity, just even beyond like the camera, was really something I could be proud of to be a part of this production for.
Wow, that's amazing. Anyone else? Okay. One question I had, and I think it came to mind when Anne was speaking. It just appears or seems that, you know, making these films and bringing all of this beautiful work to us, it's hard. It's difficult work. And how do you all stay motivated to do this work? Whether you're a creator, actor, director, writer, you know, any of the things that you're doing to bring these beautiful films to us, how do you stay motivated?
Because you kind of can tell if the story you're telling is sincere or not. Because it's very like instinctual and like very gut feeling, and when you and there's something, you know, there are definitely stories, especially when stories like this one is like untold. I would get like physically ill until it was told, so I would just keep like sort of pushing that. So it's always like I go to like what's deep in my heart and sort of reflect on why I want to sort of make films, because it is a way to, you know, in a cathartic kind of way. It really helps you to articulate what's been going on like in your life and what's on your mind, and you find especially gratified when voices like that got heard and got echoed and validated by other people who also felt the same way. Because I think human beings are more like they're more similar than they're different. And something that is with, you know, such a unique cultural perspective and background as this one can also resonate in other people's hearts. So that's one of the things I really enjoy and appreciate about filmmaking.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Thomas and Connor, anything else you might want to add?
I think it comes from stories that you identify with, or, you know, there's something I think a lot of filmmakers can relate to, and when you find a story that like just sparks something in you, and that's what keeps it going again and again in a circuitous kind of fashion.
Thank you. Todd and Tashawn, I was just curious about you two as well, being actors and creators, how you stay motivated out here. It seems like that would be a very, you know, difficult and cutthroat industry, and just how you keep going.
Okay, yeah, I'll start. So just trying to stay motivated in itself is somewhat of a battle at times, just due to like there being so many different things going on in your life, or there are just so many different projects you're applying to at the same time. And it really hurts not hearing back from anything, but I feel like that can only make, when you do hear back from something and eventually book something, that much better, because there's so much that you wouldn't see in the process of like movies being made, or like when you see big names in movies, you see them there, and like you will never, I didn't understand this until I was on the exact other side of it. You wouldn't understand how grueling that process to eventually get your name up there would be. So just as an actor, as a Black actor myself, I try to just let my work do the talking. I try not even to introduce myself as a Black actor, or I just try to have myself seen as an actor and somebody who you will get nothing but the best performance from me if I'm given that chance. So that's what I just want to have be my sort of legacy in terms of why I do this and why I would stay motivated to just give every single opportunity my whole heart so I can tell your story as best as possible, and eventually even my own story someday.
Thank you. Todd?
Yeah. And I think adding to that, I think it's really important to recognize that we have, as actors, we have to constantly just be ready to be able to tell a story. So then we continue working, taking classes, training, and we keep going to audition. We don't give up. However, it is very difficult to keep getting rejections because it will start making you to wonder, maybe it's because you didn't prepare enough or something. You feel stuck at times. And I think the way I keep myself motivated is to continue creating my own project, creating my own opportunities, and so that way we will be able to we can still put content out there, and you will still hear back from people that are able to watch it. And just like example, like even this film graduate previous film about like LGBTQ content, I still hear back from people, and I still comments around the world saying, I really appreciate you made this film, I relate a lot. And then they start talking about maybe their questioning and their own like life choices, and then like later they relate to it, and you can tell them that I did a good job with creating this character and helping to tell the story. So I would say, creating your own content on the side is what is really motivating me to keep going and in this difficult industry.
Thank you. Thank you. Anne, I am curious how you stay motivated. It sounds like you are like blazing your own path as an intimacy coordinator, direct, just the things that you're doing is so exciting. And how do you stay motivated, and how did you, clear this path for yourself?
Yes, well, I've been a person in this industry for a long time, and I've learned how to ignore people who would tell me, you can't do that. You can't do, what do you think? Who do you think you are? And I'm like, oh, I'll show you who I am. I will show you exactly who I am. And I tend to never met a stranger. I do like to have conversations with people. I never, take people for granted. That's one thing that I learned from my upbringing, and it keeps me motivated. And also the simple fact that I do believe that we live in abundance, that keeps me motivated. I tend to laugh more than I cry. And I love the fact that I have a great community. I'm artistic director at a theater company here in Land of the Tongva people, also known as Los Angeles, Celebration Theater. We are about to celebrate our 40th year as an LGBTQIA plus theater. And it's such an honor to use all the skills that I've learned to apply to diversifying and to creating space for people of color in this industry. And so I'm lucky enough to have the vehicle of a theater company to do that. So if you're an actor out there and you are a queer actor out there specifically that is living in LA, you can contact me for sure.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
You can give that over here if you want, your email.
In the chat?
Live?
Oh, you mean just say it?
Yes. Yes. Share it with us.
Okay, you can email. This is great. You can email me at Ann, ANN, at Celebration Theater with an RE instead of ER, THEATRE.com. So it's Ann at celebrationtheater.com. And send me your resume and your headshot. Don't just be like, hey, hi, I'm an actor. Like, send me information. Okay?
All right. Now, I want to find out about everyone, your next projects. How can the OutSouth queer community support you and support your work? That's what I want to know. I want folks out there to support you, to see your work, and anything that you might have coming up. And again, I see Robin first on my screen, so I'm going to start with Robin.
For sure. Like this week, I'm scouting and like chemistry read for my next film, which is also my thesis film, called Weilai. It's a Chinese American coming of age comedy about this 9-year-old Chinese American boy who got beaten by his own dad by a shoehorn. He got really mad and he flees like across the street to his best friend's like white family and offer himself up for their adoption. So he doesn't want to be in like a part of Chinese. He wants to be white, and it's again captured the kind of similar tone of Graduation, which is fun, bittersweet, and warm, and poignant and nostalgic. So yeah, follow us on WEI_LII_film on Instagram, and then stay tuned for what's happening on our journey.
Exciting. Tashawn, you have anything to share?
Oh yeah, totally. So in addition to just like the amazing project, I was a part of Sundown Town. And I guess this is sort of just like the journey of an actor. You're working and then you're waiting for your work to come out. Thankfully, there is a project that I was super proud to be a part of coming to Amazon Prime this fall. It is a series called No Joke. And it sort of revolves around this sort of really, really like concerning event at this high school surrounding these 4 or so friends. And I play a recurring character throughout the show, Andrew. And I really wish I could explain without giving too much away. But September 7th, this fall on Prime Video, No Joke, the series. Look out for your boy is Andrew. And, you know, I'm super excited to have everybody see that. And just, it's going to be amazing to have some of my work just out there on just like a major platform like that. So I'm terribly excited and can't wait for everybody to see it.
Thank you for sharing. Thomas.
We're working on a series Bible for Money Cat right now. There are a lot of other colored money cats out there. It's not just the gold one. So, and cats have 9 lives. So stay tuned for expanded universe on Money Cat.
Exciting. Todd. Todd, we cannot hear you. Todd, you're muted.
Hi.
There you are. There you are. Thank you.
Yeah. No, so besides Graduation, right now I have another project. It's called The Boy Culture with the series, and that's also going through film festivals as well. So that's pretty exciting for me. And the director for Boy Culture, Alan Broca, is going to be we're in the process of developing a music feature film as well. So, that's exciting as well. It's also about an American coming out story, but in a much more interesting musical film. So.
Thank you, Todd. Please put that in the chat because you were going in and out a little bit. So make sure you share with our OutSouth folks the next project. Okay, Anne, could you share with us?
Let me see if I can find that on mute. Yes, I was in Wolf Warrior 2. I played the mother. I was the mother in Wolf Warrior 2. Okay, so that's a side conversation. We're going to talk about that, Robin, okay? I promise. Okay, yeah, so I've got a couple of projects going on. I am just starting pre-production interview process for an interview process with the military LGBTQ community about how they find joy and resilience in a system that would oppress them. So that's a documentary film that I'm starting to work on. I also have a Indigenous play festival, 10-minute play festival. So if you know anyone who is Indigenous and identifies as such in the Los Angeles area or even nationally, internationally, and they have written a 10-minute play, please have them email me at that same address. We are collecting plays right now for that. So
wow.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what Luke is working on, but I think he's got something in his mind for a next project. So stay tuned with Luke Willis as well.
Thank you. Thank you. Milo?
Hi. So right now I've got my hands in a lot of different projects right now, a lot of different shorts. And none of them are even close to being done in post-production. So I can't really talk about them yet, but stay tuned for that. But I am working right now consistently on pre-production for a feature film idea that is just based on, Black, queer, and horror. Maybe in that order, maybe in different orders, but that's what I'm really working on right now. And you can find more media that I do on my Instagram at milob.production.
Thank you. Thank you, Milo. And please put that in the chat for us as well.
Okay.
Connor, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, I've got I'm getting ready to work on a music video soon, and then I'll be assistant directing on a Friends feature, which is shooting in Colorado, and then just hopefully looking for another narrative short to work on for next year. So that's about it.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, unfortunately, we are coming to the end of our time. This has been amazing. It's been wonderful talking with everyone. I want to thank all the filmmakers, creators, actors so much for sharing your films with us, making your submissions to OutSouth Queer Film Festival. Please support the filmmakers, please, and the actors and everyone here. And remember, we have graduation, Sundown Town, Money Cat, Pool Boy. Please support all of the films. If you have not seen them during the festival, please watch. All of the films were wonderful, endearing, and beautiful. Thank you to everyone who joined us tonight and viewed this panel discussion or even supported the films during the film festival. Again, I enjoyed all the films so much. We appreciate your participation in the OutSouth Queer Film Festival. Please continue to support us, and we are hoping and praying for a in-person film festival next year. So thank you, everyone. Thank you so much for being here this evening. It was wonderful.
Thank you for having us.
To hear more.
Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you,
All right,
OutSouth.
we'll join you backstage after we go out alive.